Frida Kahlo was, until 1939, a Mexican painter known for being the wife of Diego Rivera, a predominant Mexican painter worldly famous for his murals. However, after achieving international fame, she returns home, divorces Mr. Rivera, and goes on to paint a self-portrait in male clothing with her hair cropped. And this is how she chose to portray the changes in her life and how she saw herself then. Of course, knowing somewhat of her work, we know that her many self-portraits are filled with symbolism. But this example opens the door for today's video. And today we're going to be talking about the importance of self-portraits as ways to deal with our identity, which is the word we give to this constant self-discovery journey we live throughout our lives. And so with that being said, welcome back to another video, and today, as you might have understood by the intro and by the title, thumbnail, etc., we're going to be talking about self-portraits, and we're going to be talking about the importance of self-portraits, reflecting on certain issues more or less related to photography, to psychology, to philosophy. And I'm going to be sharing my self-portraits, talk about some of my motivations behind them, and also talk about very interesting concepts such as a visual diary, the creation of a visual diary, and talk about some inspirations as well and what led me to do it, and how can it be helpful in a way for us photographers, creatives, and human beings, I suppose. And so yeah, I've got a lot to share with you today, so why don't you just go ahead, make yourself comfortable, grab a drink, and let's go straight to another video. I think the why of self-portraits can be motivated by very general ideas such as curiosity about oneself, the idea of seeing ourselves in a different light. But as we've seen with multiple other artists across the history of visual arts such as painting, filmmaking, photography, self-portraits are in a greater part motivated by identity issues, pain, loss, happiness, and other greater emotions that we all experience and deal with in different ways. And although this last has been one of my reasons to start taking self-portraits, the truth is that another greater motivation for my self-portraits had to do with my issues with self-image. And in a way, I wanted to use this video to maybe help or inspire in any way through my experience those of you who struggle with that eternal obsession over your own perceived flaws. And I would definitely say that some of these so-called perceived flaws and this obsession over them was definitely at the core of some of my probably saddest or most destructive episodes in my life. And I think it's okay to say this because I do kind of believe or have this sort of mentality where I think as in life you're able to find a rose among thorns, you can also find your peace when you really try to navigate through different paths. And once you do that and you kind of try and find yourself, and for instance one of those paths for me was photography. And photography really did help dealing with those issues and in a way start to accept myself, not just from a visual point of view, but also who I am as a human being, as a person. And I think that this is very important because once you start photographing, so photographing is an activity that I really enjoy and give me fulfillment, and so, give me a purpose as well to find things that I want to see in real life, themes and ideas that I want to see manifested and doing my work. But in another way, photography in a sense helped because I did this sort of exercise of, instead of turning the camera away towards others and finding subjects, I turned it towards me. And so in a way, I tried to find myself or who I was. And this is a very interesting exercise when you first start doing this, and what you're going to do is confront yourself or your idea of yourself visually with an actual image that was taken by this, you know, very objective sort of like point of view. And then you're going to just have this sort of comparison in your head. And this, I think, this exercise of sitting with yourself and doing this will really lead to sort of like more self-awareness, like more of your feelings, your emotions, how you see yourself, self-acceptance, and above all, obviously, more knowledge about yourself. And I think this is always a good thing, because if you become more knowledgeable about yourself, you'll know probably better what you want to capture, what you want to do with life, what you want for your life. And I think this is very important in any path, whether that is photography, literature, or you're a writer, you're a painter, you're an actor, whatever you are. And I think that's very important, and definitely an exercise that I would kind of like recommend to everyone. However, this idea of self-portrait was something that I became interested in when I first discovered the paintings of Rembrandt, who throughout his career painted himself in different periods of his life. And I think this gave me the idea of creating a visual diary of myself as I age and mature, and the things I learn on the way. However, it was the photography of Vivian Maier, in particular her self-portraits, that in a way pushed me to take more self-portraits. And so what was an initial idea of recording myself during my natural process of aging became a visual diary of myself as I age and I go through the most difficult and, in reverse, the happiest days of my life. And a record of myself as I accept myself for who I am and slowly heal from past turmoils and enjoy looking back at my happiest recollections. And so, particularly going through Vivian Maier's self-portrait book, this book inspired me into getting more in tune with myself, and it also showed me how to have fun trying to find angles and insert myself, my shadow, or my reflection into little details of the everyday life. Which in turn, believe it or not, has also helped me being more confident in going out with my cameras, finding new compositions, and paying more attention to the details that surround me, which of course are aspects that can help us all with our general photography goals. And so there's this very interesting concept of visual diary, which I'd like to talk to you about because I think that it might be helpful. And there's this sort of like idea of building your own diary and putting your self-portrait side by side, and you see yourself as you age. And I think it's a very good sort of like tool to self-reflect and sort of like see how, you know, the years go by and what has changed. But also, like, there's this interesting contradiction about building this sort of diary and sharing it with others. Because here I am sitting, doing a video and sharing my self-portraits with you, which in a way is very public, and, you know, you can definitely have a look on, you know, here on Instagram, etc. But at the same time, it's also very private, because only me and my memories know what I was feeling at that time. Whether it was a happy day or a very bad day, and what motivated it, what motivated me to take that sort of photo. Of course, like from some of the titles that you've seen as the images go along, you've realized that where I was or what I was feeling at the time, or what I realized at the time I took my self-portrait. But I think like it's interesting to do this, and it's interesting to have this sort of like such a public but also private in the same sort of like body of work. In this case, it's not a body of work like a serious body of work, but it's more like just a sort of collection, I would say, of visual images. And so in conclusion, the camera did help me break through my battles with self-image during critical moments of my life as I experienced loss, heartbreak, genuine happiness, or acted foolishly around others. And in a way, now making this video, I can look back and tell you that it's okay to be vulnerable, to accept that all of us are vulnerable to one thing or another, and it's through exposing ourselves bit by bit, even through photography, even through self-portraits, that we truly begin, continue, or profound the process of self-awareness, self-acceptance, and become more rich and knowledgeable in what can be a very complicated subject to study and understand, and that is our own selves. And it's been all for today, so I hope you enjoyed this video and it was helpful in any way, shape or form. I guess it was a video more connected with the psychological side of photography, I'll put it this way. But it just goes to show that photography is an element that can connect with anything and everything in life. And so that's why it's so interesting to talk about it in many different ways. And today we touched very sensitive subjects such as body image, such as self-rejection and stuff like that. So if any of you is dealing with anything like this currently or knows anyone who's dealing with this, I'm going to be leaving links down below for places and information where you can get some advice or maybe find someone with common ground and experience that can help you kind of like in a way talk about it and go through it, which is very important. And I guess that down below you'll also find links to my work and social media and all of that. And I wanted to, before ending this video, quickly thank everyone so much for watching and supporting the channel, and a special thank you to everyone who's been buying prints. It really, really means a lot. And it's, you know, I'm very surprised, genuinely speaking, in a good way, with the amount of support and the amount of like the kind words. So really means a lot. And yeah, I guess that this is going to be all for today. So I hope you have a great day. Stay safe, keep shooting film, subscribe for a cookie. Peace.